Byer.
Brad Johnson.
Welcome, Brad. Another Bottom Line Thursday. What's our topic today?
All right, this one's pretty interesting, and we'll see if it comes to fruition. So the Biden administration is proposing to exclude medical debt from credit scores. And, I think they've recognized, and a lot of people recognize, taking politics out of it, that medical bills can show up unexpectedly.
Yes.
And the huge sums of money attached to that could really impact the person's credit score if they don't pay the bill timely. And
Yes.
be one thing if the bill is $500, but it could be another thing if the bill's $100,000.
Right.
Yes.
And so rolling the credit scores, so impacting rents, even insurance rates.
Yes.
Different, all sorts of things now look at credit scores. So we'll see what happens to it. Right now it's under that comment period, like a public comment period. I think it ends in August. And then from there, they take the comments and then they come up with the final regs, which could be here as early as next year. We all know it's an election year, though. So will they be intact if it, all that's up for grabs? But I think it's just an interesting topic that to discuss for our bottom line. So I'll leave it there, and then we can keep going.
Chris, we've got a couple of clients that don't cover certain procedures or certain things like air ambulance. They just decided to exclude it because it gets so expensive. But you think of somebody that goes through a crazy accident, they don't have a choice to get airlifted. It just happens. And now you're sitting, with a $50,000 or $60,000 unpaid bill. That's not part of your decision making on how you use a credit card or whatever. You've not paid your bills. I mean, I can see some validity to this, but I don't think medical debt has got any better. I mean, it just continues to be there. I mean, we were talking about that. That's the whole supplemental insurance industry. 50, 60 years ago, here's a cancer policy, here's an intensive care policy, because at that point it was hard to pay your medical bills. And here we are now with, $10,000, $15,000 out of pockets.
Yeah, I applaud it. I think it's a great idea. I'm not saying people shouldn't pay their debt, but I don't think it should impact their credit scores. To your point, Brad, I mean, and Chris, if you get hit with a complete unknown bill, unrealistic amount, I don't think that should drive somebody's credit scores from 800 to 400. That's just not fair. But yeah, if you're not paying your bills on time, absolutely. I think I applaud it. We were talking, I can't remember the stat around the percentage of bankruptcies solely based on medical debt, just to try to get out of it. And it's
a significant majority. Yeah.
It's crazy.
Significant majority. But Brad, I think that this hinges back on the member is not voluntarily incurring the debt. They don't know what they're in for when they go in for care. It's not like they're, deciding to put, a payment on a credit card or go through that process, because this doesn't apply in that situation, right?
Correct. Yeah. And I think two great points there. So you think about it, because it's so unpredictable, they have found that people with just medical debt on their credit and really nothing else, it isn't a predictor of their credit worthiness, which makes sense. Maybe they pay every other bill on time, maybe even ahead of time, but the big $100,000 air ambulance, hard for anyone to dig out of that. But to your other point, those care credit cards you can apply for at a physician's office, the way the regs are written on this, it would not apply to that. So pro tip for the folks, if this does come to fruition, don't use a credit card or those care credits to do it, because you wouldn't be protected by this. That would still go on your credit score.
Because it's traditional credit. It's not medical debt owed to a facility or provider. That's interesting.
Yeah. And last little bit here. So Kaiser Foundation went state by state and looked at what different hospitals are doing. About 2/3 do place a kind of a thing on someone's credit report if they don't pay their bills. Wow. Not University of Iowa, for example, does not. I think the other remedies out there that hospitals will still have, they can sell the debt to debt collectors. Even though it can't go on a credit score, they can still sell the debt for pennies on the dollar, try to collect. This one is interesting, and this wouldn't impact this bill, denying care if it's not emergent. They can still do that.
Yes.
Brad, you haven't paid your bill, you can't go here. You got to go to the other hospital, or even put a lien on your property. So there is a means for these facilities to collect the debt still. Forgot to tell you, it also applies to dental bills, which is kind of interesting. So there you go. All all
It'd be
sorts of
interesting to see how
stuff.
this comes through.
Yeah,
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
that seems to be something that, for example, I got my teeth cleaned yesterday, and I got the wonderful news that I need a crown because I have a cracked tooth. And
Yay.
so yeah, yay. And so, I already know what it's going to cost me. So it's interesting, once again, I kind of look at that almost like an elective procedure. Do I have to have it? No. But I sort of know what it's going to cost because they'll usually run some kind of estimate. So it's dentist. That's interesting. Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do with that $1,000. So why not
Why not put it on your mouth? Yes.
Yeah.
Well, hey, the good news is the drooling stopped once they fixed that tooth.
You're going to bring that up on him at some point. So
Yes. It always comes back to me one way or another. The story's always going to come right back to me.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Brad.
Yeah, have a good one.
All right, bye-bye.